Got a cracky bright day in the Highlands. Oh, as soon as I say that, the sun goes behind a cloud. Here, I'll turn it back on for you. There we go, perfect. See, it's like that in the Highlands all the time. I've got a new one here for you, a new company to me. It's called CoFight, and this is the 1802 model. It actually comes in 4 different flavours you can get this in. You've got a standard one which doesn't have a camera, you've got a 480p camera one. I've got the 720p camera, and also there's a 1080p camera. And I put links in description down to any ones that I find, and any sort of special deals and codes I have there will be down in description as per normal. Now, why I've got another load of other quads here, well, it's really quite similar to the DJI Tello in physical size, and also the Flytek as well. Also, there's other models that I've reviewed, and I put links down in description to all the different ones. I think I've done about 3 or 4 now, pretty similar ones, slightly different flight characteristics and different bits that you get with them. The interesting thing I thought on this one was it's got a nice tiltable lens, and it's sort of a friction grip. It really does hold quite nicely when you put it in any position, which is good, and an advantage over both of these as well. Also, it looks a better lens on it than the Tello, which I'd be surprised at, because the Tello is about 3 times the price of this one. With the Flytek and this one, and also the other ones I've reviewed, they all came with transmitters, apart from the Tello, and that one you just fly on your app on your phone. The others can also fly on their own apps on a phone as well. So there's, you know, with these things, there's so many different things coming out of the factories. They sort of mix and match everything together. Comes with the usual sort of stuff. You've got prop guards if you want. If you're flying indoors, I suggest you use those. It's going to protect your quad. They just simply click over there and stop damaging anything else. The props are pretty flexible anyway, so I don't really think there'll be an awful lot of damage done with them if you did fly indoors and catch anything. The props are nicely marked up as well, B1, and then you've got A2 here as well, and you get a spare set of props with it as well. You get a USB charger for the actual battery, and this battery is quite a sizable one actually. It's a 1000 milliamp hour, and it's a single cell one as well. You simply plug that into there, and then you can use USB. I've got a mains adapter here, just plug in and charge it up, or you can charge it in your car, your laptop, or your computer, or anything like that. Anything with a USB output basically. Once that's fully charged, pop it in, only goes in round one way, and then it clicks in, and then you've got an on-off button on the top, which is rather good. The motors are exactly the same size on all of these, which I was surprised at, because I thought the Tello would be a bit more powerful. I would imagine the Tello ones are dearer, I would hope so anyway, or a better quality, but we'll see. Certainly the flying experience of this one and the other ones I've reviewed have all been excellent, so I'm quite looking forward to another one of them. You get instructions with it as well, and they're pretty good actually. Quite small, small text and everything, but it does run through everything nicely. And you get the app, which is their own app, which is HTS app it's called, and I'll show you that when we get onto the actual phone. And again, that's all the instructions for that are pretty good as well. I thought they were fine. Onto the actual transmitter itself, and it's a clone of the DJI one, off the Mavic I think it is. These are fake antennas, and don't do anything, there's nothing attached to them at all. And then you put your phone in down the bottom here, and simply pull it out. It would take quite a big phone actually, mine goes in there no problem at all, and that tucks in out the way. You don't have to fly it using the phone or anything. You can just learn. If you're learning to fly, I would suggest you just literally get out and have a play with it and just learn to fly it, and then start adding your phone. Run through the controls on it, and they're nice and clearly marked up, which is rather good. You've got your throttle here, so push that up and the quad will ascend. It's got altitude hold, so when you let go it will stay at an altitude. There's no position holding. The Tello actually has an optical flow position holding, so that looks down on the ground and picks a spot. This has none of that, doesn't have GPS or anything. Pull it down and it descends, and when you let go again it will just level out, so, and it will hold the height like I said. Got quite a sort of breezy day today, so this will probably drift around in the garden. If you want it to yaw, which is that, basically turning around or pirouetting on the spot, push that to the right and it turns to the right, push it to the left, turns to the left. This is your direction stick here, so this is the front of the quad, so if I push forward, that's forward, so it goes forwards, backwards, that's called pitching, roll into the right and then roll into the left. And if the quad's facing round towards you and a push forward, obviously forwards is the orientation of the quad. This does have something called Headless Mode, which is this one here. We press this one, and then whatever way we bound the quad up, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. So we bound it all up this way round. If I push forward, it's always away from me, no matter on the orientation of the quad. So you can even be spinning and it can still go in just the one direction sort of thing. Backwards towards you, right and left. And it doesn't matter on what way the quad's actually facing. And I'll show you how that all works when we get up in the flight. All of these things are not points of the compass, so you can go at slight angles and it will go at slight angles. Same with the throttle, you've got a full throttle or you've got just a little bit of throttle. And same with the yaw as well, you can either spin it around really fast or do it nice and slowly, hopefully. If it doesn't do that, I will point it out to you when we're actually on the flight. Other things you've got, auto takeoff, simply press this one, it will pop up in the air and then it'll altitude hold it about 1 meter and then you can start flying. You've got auto land, you press that and it will start to come into land, and you can control where it's going to land with this one, so you can move it around. If you want to cancel the auto land, just give it a bit of throttle and it will cancel out the auto land. These ones here are trim buttons, and there's loads of videos out there telling you how to trim. To be honest, well, I couldn't trim it today because of the wind probably that's going to drift through. And this level of model, I've never had any issues. If I calibrate it on somewhere level, I've always found them absolutely fine. The other buttons we've got is a return to home, which isn't going to work particularly well because there is no home for it to come back to. It doesn't know where it took off from because it doesn't have GPS on it. You've got 3 different rates, and it always starts in low rates, intermediate and then high. And then you've also got, it does flips as well. So you press this one and then you choose the direction of flip, forward, backwards, right or left. The transmitter takes 3 AA batteries and it doesn't come with those. Everything else it comes with ready to fly. You do need a phone as well if you want to use the FPV. Now this model only has LEDs at the front and they're pretty small and not very bright. Let me just put it around here and I'll just turn it on here for you. So press that and as you can see they're not, you can just about see them. We'll see how we get on. But that's the only place that we've got LEDs for. In the shade they're absolutely fine. Pop that down on somewhere level and I'm going to calibrate it and everything. Hopefully you'll be able to see those LEDs when we do that. I'm going to pop the transmitter on and then we get fast. The LEDs went fast, then they go down to slow. Hopefully you'll be able to see that. And then if I go up on the throttle, you don't even have to go down. That's it all bound, ready to go. To calibrate it, we pull the 2 sticks down and to the right, and then hopefully you'll see they get a beep beep, and that means that's calibrated. And we've got flashing LEDs there as well. You could take off by either using the auto takeoff or you pull the 2 sticks down and out and that will start the motors. So as I said, the app we're going to use is HTS UFO, and the quad will have set up a Wi-Fi hotspot and we're just going to log on to that. So come into your Wi-Fi settings. I already had a quick play around with this to make sure it worked indoors, and it automatically reconnects to it, HTS, and then it'll have some numbers after it. It's already connected. Go back to your home screen, launch the app, and then you've actually got what the instructions are in here, so what everything does, and it's really nicely done. It's a good little app actually. I've used it before as well, and you've got your settings in here as well for your major sort of settings, and obviously they do one, perhaps, or they're bringing one out that they're going to use this on, which will have an SD card. This one doesn't have that, by the way. Everything is recorded back to the actual phone itself. I'm going to come back out of that and I'm just going to start the app, and there we are, we're live straight away. Okay, that's pretty good actually. Little bit of delay, as you would expect these things do, and I'll show you how to fly it on the app after we've had a flight with the actual transmitter. And that's us all ready to go. I've done a video on how to fly using an app, and I'll put a link down in the description for that as well. I'm going to start the video, and then I'm actually going to use the auto takeoff this time. Whee, and we're up and away straight away. I actually really like that FPV on it. It's really nice. And the yaw is nice and smooth. Yeah, good stuff. There is quite a gusty sort of wind around the garden, so... Oh, there's me moaning about those LEDs. They're actually really quite bright. Yeah, that's nice. Actually, yeah, getting very little breakup or delay on the actual app. As soon as I say that, of course, I'll get it. So that's in low rates. Even that's not too bad, to be honest. Let's up it. That's second rate. Whoa, that gets a bit of a shift on. If you're new to flying, you'd probably find this quite fast. Woo! Hey, cool. Well, that's 3. Yay, that's lovely. Ah, now 3's got the weird thing. Oh no, you can just about fly through. I was being a bit over anxious on the actual yaw there. I thought it had that really mad yaw, and it has. If you give it a real spin, it will really spin out. Whoa, that's going to look great on the video. But you can actually still do it slowly as well. Yeah, you can still do it smooth and slow in high rates as well. Way. But if you give it a little bit too much stick input, let me just show you this. So if I do a little bit of stick input, I can just, the breeze is just taking that way. Whoa, that breeze is quite strong. There we go, I can go around quite slow. And if I give it anything that's too much, it just goes mad. It's fighting that breeze really well. Hey, oh yeah, quite like that. So if you want to, when you're in the low rates, you know, and the intermediate rates, you don't get that mad spin out. So it's just really nice and sedate. Would be better for video, I must admit. Okay, so let's try the headless mode. That's the return to home. Whoops, I pressed the wrong one. That's half looking at that, catching the breeze. So let's try the headless mode this time. So press that and we get flashing LEDs. Actually, I'm moaning about those LEDs. They're really not that bad. There we go. So we were bound that way, weren't we? So let's just up the rates there. And you get that annoying beep that it tells you it's in headless mode. So basically, coming towards me, away from me, and it doesn't matter what orientation the quad's in, as I explained before. You can even spin it round if you wanted to and go in one direction. I've never really found a use for headless mode, I must admit. Let me just get it back into normal, and I'll show you the return to home should bring it back there where we took off. So I'm just going to press that, and it's going towards my house. And the way to cancel it is just simply use the direction stick, and that cancels it. So it doesn't go anywhere near there. If I took it past the house that way, it would just keep on going, and it won't stop either. So the only place it works is if you're there and you've flown directly away from you. Let's try a quick flip. Whee, oh, it flips quite well. Nice. And I'll see whether I can do a selfie, because it's really, the breeze is really catching it. Having said that, it doesn't really look as though it's moving it much. There we go. There we are. Yeah, I could just feel the breeze on me. I like the lens on this, it's cool. I'll just try a panning shot. There we go. Okay, let's do a little bit of a range test. So I know from here I'm going to get about 80 meters down to the end of my garden. Whoa, that breeze is catching in well. Whoa! Wow, that FPV is really nice. Sorry about that, the postman turned up with some more drones, so it's quite nice. I could actually see him on the FPV around the other side of the house. So, perfect. I'm going to show you how we start the motors without using the auto takeoff. Pull them down and out, and then it just goes into tick over, and we're up and away. So let's just see how we get on. I'm quite impressed with this FPV. That wind down there is going to really catch this. So probably about 50 meters. Yeah, having said I really like the FPV, yeah, it's locked up now. Now the interesting thing will be, will it come back on live when it comes back into range? So, yep, we are back live, so that's good. That's pretty impressive. Whoa, that wind's strong. You can fly on it. This is actually pretty good. Yeah, definitely locking out. Probably 40 meters, I would say it starts to lock out. Nice, it's lovely. In close like this, you could actually, you can FPV it properly. Well, that's really nice. Nice little quad, actually. I like these ones, because you just pop them in your pocket or pop them in your bag, and you're away. Okay, so that's flying with the transmitter. To come into land, you can either just take the throttle off like that, and then once it's realised it's not going down anymore after a second or so, it will kill the motors. Or alternatively, you can use the landing one here, like I said, and that just does the same thing. Control where it's going to go, and then if you give it a bit of throttle, you'll cancel out of it. There we go, and it just cancels back out. And the attitude hold's working really well. It's really nice. So I'm just going to do a quick test with the lens pointing downwards, and you can also hand launch and hand catch as well if you're confident with it. There we go. Yeah, nice. And that wind is going to catch this thing, yeah, like mad. Yeah, there we go. Whoa, just catching it now. Whoa, oh yes. We're just about fighting on second stage. I'm going to bring it down into third, up into third rates, and then I've got a lot more control over it and fight the wind a lot easier. Yeah, nice. Okay, I'm going to fly it on the app now. So what I'm going to do is, as you can see, we've got solid LEDs at the front. I'm going to turn off the transmitter. An interesting thing with this as well is if I just prime these motors, I'll just quickly show you. If you lost signal, so if you flew it out of range or anything, if I just turn this off, it only takes about a second and it kills the motors and we get flashing LEDs. So that's good. So if you went out of range, your batteries fell out or anything happened to the transmitter, it will just come in and land. It's not going to land, not going to know where it's going to land. It will just come out of the sky, but it won't plummet. It just slowly slows the motors down. So we've got flashing green LEDs telling us that even though the FPV is working, we aren't actually ready to fly. So we need to turn the controls on. That turns the controls on. Now the LEDs have gone solid, so we're ready to fly. We can calibrate it here. There's lots of functions on this app, and you can use 3D goggles if you like and that sort of thing. I actually think you could fly this on FPV. You'd be pushing it. It's not the best thing to do it with, but you certainly, the screen and the actual response is pretty good. I've seen a lot worse, I must admit. So this is an altitude hold model, so we're going to pop that on and that brings the controls up, and then we've got the controls the same, and I'll try and run through all the different functions that we've got on here. So let's just do auto takeoff first of all, and that's in low rates. Yeah, that's nice. That's into intermediate. I'll be interested in whether that mad yaw actually works in high rates here as well. Let's just try that. So that's in high rates. Oh, it does get a bit of a shift on as well. And how are we doing with yaw? Oh no, it doesn't have the mad yaw, so you've got really smooth, very controllable yaw. That's nice, that's good. And again, you just stop the video and just a little selfie if you like. The breeze is just taking it everywhere. You can also fly this on the gyro of your phone, so simply press that one there. This one's quite lively in 100%. This is quite cool. So grandkids like this, you just simply tilt your phone and it goes the direction that you want it to go. Obviously you can rotate as well. And what I tend to say to the grandkids is actually to fly using, turn the way the quad's facing, sort of thing. Let's just turn that off. You've also got a mission control or mission planner or whatever you want to call it on here as well. Just put that back down in low rates. So you just literally point that in and just do that with it and it will go round as you've directed it to, but I've really never ever found a use for it. Though people tell me I will, I haven't. You can turn the LEDs on and off. You can also avoid hitting your house if you're really careful. There we go. So LEDs are off and now they're on. Actually, they do. You can really see them actually, which is surprising, this bright light. You got your 360 flips there. There we go. Same as we did before. Whoops. That breeze is really pushing this around. It's a strange little breeze in the garden. There we go. We've got an emergency stop one as well, which will literally press that and it will drop it out of the sky, literally. You've also got what's supposed to be a one-key return, which is, you know, the same as the other on the transmitter that you press and it comes home. I tried this a couple of times when I was indoors and all it does is just flip over and go nuts. So I'll give it a quick go. Well, there we go. That's supposed to be return home. It just does this sort of weird inverted loop. Oh, and it's actually popped the battery out. Oh, and bent a prop as well. So that's why they give you spare props. So yeah, it was I've tried it indoors just when I was playing around with it. I thought I'm really not understanding how the heck that works. You can see why, but at least I've shown you, you know, that it doesn't work. There we go. Nice thing about the props, you can usually straighten them back up, and I'm sure some people would say no, you shouldn't. You should replace them. Yes, by all means replace them, but if you can get away with it, I always think why not. So it'd be interesting if it rebinds back up again. So I've just literally turned the quad back on. Let's just see whether the app will pick it back up again. There we go, and it did reconnect automatically, so that's brilliant. It's taken the app back to its default, but that was pretty impressive. Yeah. Unlike the return to home thing, which was less than impressive, I would say. Let's see whether it'll fly with that bent prop that I've just straightened back out again. Oh, I think we're actually... Oh yeah, the battery's actually gone. So we've got flashing LEDs. It was pretty low on battery. I've had a really good flight out of it. So no, I really like that. It was quite impressive. I like the actual quality out of here onto here was really good. I've had other quads that have not been as good, and at this sort of price as well. I think that's pretty good. So transmitter worked really well as well. So yeah, I'm quite impressed with it. I put links in description to the other ones I've done, and then you can have a check out and see which ones you like, and perhaps some other sort of folding quads and stuff like that might be worth having a look at. Around this price range, you've got a massive amount of different quads, and it's up to you what you want. Really difficult. No one quad is absolutely brilliant, and most of them seem pretty fair. If I review one that's rubbish, I will show it as rubbish as well, so I am honest on that. I do like the camera, I must admit, and the fact you can tilt it as well is pretty impressive. So there we go, that's us all done. I hope you've enjoyed that, and thanks for your support, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.